Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Reds Talk. We are fully in football mode. Games are coming thick and fast, as well as the transfer news surrounding Manchester United. As always, we've got lots of things to discuss, mainly the striker situation, but we've got a couple of topics that we want to dive into as well. But before we do that, I have to introduce our company for today's show. We've got Chivy and Sam on today. How are we doing, lads?
Oh, you got it right, man.
You pronounced my name wrong, by the way. My name is not.
How would you like to have it pronounced, Sam? Samuel?
Yeah, Samuel will do. That'll do.
Samuel. Cool.
Yeah.
How we doing, fellas?
Not
Good.
so bad.
I can't believe that Chivy has just announced. He's announced his name is completely different to what I've been calling him for a fucking year. Yeah. A fucking year. I've been calling him this different name, but he's not told me. So yeah. But yeah, that win yesterday was absolutely excellent. So good mood.
Phenomenal. Yeah, we are. We're going to dive into that. Don't worry. That's towards the end of the show. We're going to discuss last night's fixture and, of course, Casemiro and Rashford. I do want to get into the striker situation in a second, but before I do that, I usually ask you the kind of monotone questions and the usual ones like any plans this weekend or whatever, blah blah blah. And a lot of the time, you guys are like, yeah, so I'm doing this, whatever. Blah. So I've switched it up a little bit. Who is your favourite niche player at Manchester United? So one. Not an obvious one like a Beckham or a Keane or a Rooney. Someone you've always admired, but never really got the credit they deserve, maybe. Or maybe you don't think they got the credit they deserve.
Go on, Chivy.
So not like a superstar sort of.
Yeah, just someone low-key you thought, I some people were putting in the TikTok last night when I was doing a live stream, and it was like Anderson. They really liked Anderson as a player. Yeah. Guys like this, not the obvious ones, I'd say. Yeah. Any out there?
I'm sure if I had the time to think about it, I'll come up with someone else. But I think just off the top of my head, I'll go with Hargreaves.
Owen Hargreaves. Very nice.
Yeah, he was just perfect player that we needed at the time. And it's one of them ones where now, when we lose a player, the quality kind of just drops off.
Mm-hmm.
But with Hargreaves there, because he didn't always get to play as often, obviously because he was always injured.
Yeah.
But there were times, but whenever he came, he was always an 8 over 10, 9 over 10, or between the 7 and 8 over 10 every single time.
Play for Bayern Munich, man. You have to be good to play for Bayern Munich.
Yeah, for time. So he played for them for some time, and he's a specialist player. I really loved him. For us.
I would absolutely agree with that choice. Oh, well, it doesn't matter if I agree with it or anything, because it's your choice. But if he didn't have one app for City, I think that one app for City has just completely ruined his reputation. I'm just going to throw it out there. Sam, what about yourself? You got any ex-City players as well you want to throw in there?
Fuck no. Is Ander Herrera too big? Is that too big?
You can't? I'm not letting you have Herrera.
Why not?
Because
it's obvious, man.
Yeah, we can't go a show without you mentioning Ander Herrera. He has to be in there. I know you love him. I know you love the guy.
I do.
Are there any others you would watch? Maybe a bit like that nostalgic vibe when you used to watch him and you're like, "That's my guy, man. That is my guy."
Kinchelskas.
I like it. I like it.
He was the first name I had on my shirt when I was a kid with the blue and white vertical stripe kit with the yellow sharp view cam sponsor.
Dope kit.
Kanchelskis on the back, and then he left 2 weeks later, and my mum was pissed because it was a ridiculous amount per letter we used to pay back in the day. Used to pay per letter, and Kanchelskis obviously the longest name on the planet. And she was like, "You don't want gigs, you don't want butt, you don't want skulls even." It's like, no,
£2 a letter. Just like, you sure you don't want Keane?
Exactly. So it's just like, no, I want Kanchelskis. And he left 2 weeks later, but Kanchelskis, man, was something else as a winger. Absolutely phenomenal winger, exciting. Much like the way Garnacho gets you off your feet, Kanchelskis very much the same. Drove at people, used to get down he'd have a lot of chalk on his boots, put it that way, the way he ran and stuff like that. Dan said in the chat, I was about to say Sam will say Herrera.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Kanchelskis.
I'll tell you what, Oli was definitely one of my favourites.
Oli built there.
Yeah.
Well, that was more your kind of era because I was like 4 or 5 years old. So I appreciate him as a player, obviously, but I don't remember him as fondly as you guys do.
Raphael as well. Raphael and Fabio.
Raphael was, man.
Raphael was
Yes.
he was the man.
I'd like him to come back just for the vibes.
Yeah.
We'll just pay him to be in the dressing room.
Yeah. Proper shit house, proper just like get in people's faces, kicked off. I liked it. I was there for it, man. I enjoyed it.
I always liked Antonio Valencia, man. I don't know what it was. I always liked him at right back. Just thought he was fucking. You knew what you was gonna get from him. He did what he said on the tin, but it'd still work out every time he did it. He was just an absolute powerhouse down that right hand side. Nani's another one as well, but I thought Nani's, a little bit obvious.
Nani frustrated the life out of me, man. Honest to God, he was just. At some games, he'd be like, "Oh my God, this kid is amazing," and in other games, you'd be like tearing your hair out, going, "I'm sick of this dude." Every time he gets the ball, he loses it and stuff. He was so frustrated, but when he got it right, man, some of the goals he scored.
Honestly, Nick, I don't know how old you were in that 2007, like where we signed Nani, Tevez, Hargreaves.
12.
And who was the last? We signed 4 players: Tevez, Nani,
Berbatov,
Anderson.
Oh, Anderson, yeah.
That season was an absolutely unreal season. I mean, it was just
this season, wasn't it? Is that not right? Oh, is that the one? Yeah.
That one. Is that the one with the 2 stripes at the back?
Yeah, with the thing going down the. Yeah.
That's we're cooking.
We are cooking. See how much conversation that one question has developed rather than how are your plans for this weekend? I'm going to do that more often. Before we dive into the striker topic, that is the big main one because there's some mad reports coming out today. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, smash a like on the video, and get involved in the comment section as we go through the show. The main topic, of course, lads, this number 9 situation, striker situation, attacking situation, whatever you want to call it. It's all been kind of brought into one now. We know Ronaldo left the club at the end of November. We've been heavily linked with a now Liverpool player in Cody Gakpo, who seemed like he was going to be the replacement. And now, according to Laurie Whitwell, given everything that's happened, the decision has been made that only loans are going to be available for January. So we're not going to actually invest in a player. It's going to be another Ighalo, Larson, Falcao situation, which is pretty damning. Sam, if we was to go get a striker that we should be doing anyway, how big of a difference would that be in terms of top 4, maybe a trophy?
Yeah, I think if we had a clinical number 9, we put away a couple of more chances yesterday and we put them to the sword 4-5-0. I think Anthony Martial could be that guy, but I still think he's getting to 100%. I don't think he's at his full sort of brimming best yet. I think he's getting there, but he's still not there yet. But if we had like a striker on the bench we could chuck on who's a clinical goal scorer, like that Anthony chance, for example, that's in the back of the net. So yeah, I just think we need somebody who's capable of scoring 15, 20 goals a season and is able to just regularly play. That guy is not out there on loan. I don't think we can get that guy on loan. If you want that guy, you've got to pay big money. We're not spending any money, are we? Because it's all loan deals, as Laurie Whitwell pointed out. So yeah, it's going to be interesting which way we go, who we go for. Ten Hag's thinking behind it. Is he going to change the system slightly? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen because I was under the belief we weren't signing anybody. And now they're saying it's going to be a loan deal, so it's going to be interesting to see who we go for because obviously Joao Felix is available for loan, but United are not willing to pay the 15 million loan fee that they want. So that might be a stumbling block. And then who else is there? Like, can you name anybody? I can't think of anybody.
There's a couple of ones we've got, but again, I want to get into that a little bit later in terms of options who we could go for. But there are some stretches in there. I wanted to ask Chivi. Do you think this is pretty much basically just to do with the Glazers selling up, not wanting to invest any more money, so they'd rather go for a cheaper option? Like someone's gone to Joel and they've gone, look, this guy's available in January, this guy, etc., etc. He costs 30, 40 million, he costs 50 million, and they've just gone. They were selling the club basically. Go get a loan, spend as least as you can. Do you think that's the situation that's going on here?
I honestly don't know, to be honest, and I don't even know what to think or to speculate. Because if you guys remember, this was like my number 1 question when we heard about the Glazers selling.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I said in the chat. I was like, what's going to happen to January? Because on the one hand, if that's the case, that they don't want to, they're trying to sell, they don't want to spend money. That's what you would expect. But at the same time, the club is more attractive to buy if you leave it in a good state. So it will actually be in their best interest to get someone to, because if we're like in Champions League at the end of the season, we're doing good, if everything is looking, then it kind of makes it more attractive, as a project for a potential buyer. So I really don't know what to think. At the same time, let's not forget Ten Hag keeps saying this over and over. It has to be the right player. It has to be the right striker. Now, yes, he wanted Gakpo, but whether or not Gakpo was actually, the, because even if we had Gakpo, do you think we'll still go for a number 9 in the summer?
It's a good question. It is a very good question. I have no idea.
Yeah. So it might be a case of us trying to go for like that number 9. And it might just be a case of Gakpo getting very impatient and Liverpool coming in for him at the right time. I really don't know what to think. I just find it really unfortunate that we finally got a manager that actually knows his shit and he doesn't have any money. I mean, we wasted money on just on
Dross.
Moyes and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Van Gaal, and the first time we have an actual manager who has a bit of something about him, we don't have any money. And last thing I'll say on this is, it might actually be, I like to look at silver linings sometimes, and maybe it just allows us not to spend stupid money on players. Now we have to be really smart about it, like how Liverpool was smart about it. They didn't have that much money. They tried to get Van Dijk, and what's his name knew that was the only money he had for a central defender. They didn't get him that summer, and they refused to go and get like a replacement. They waited for him and got him the summer after. So it just makes us be a little bit more prudent.
The problem is severe. We don't have the recruitment department to sign smart players. So
we've got Ten Hag.
Yeah,
Ten Hag's got an eye for talent.
Our recruitment, we've had discussions on our state of our recruitment system. We don't have those scouts out there who are finding these diamonds in the rough and these gems. We don't have it. So in order for us to be smart, don't we have to have that structure in place first to be smart and to find these players? Because we don't have it currently. Yeah.
Well, here's a question for you. Who was the last out-and-out striker, proper number 9 we've had who's been like maybe around 25, 26 or lower? Have you ever signed one in the past? Who?
You mean million? 25?
No, like age-wise. Like we always seem to go for the older profile, don't we? Cavani's, Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo, Falcao was obviously aging at that point as well. Like, who was the last one? I don't feel like we buy for the future at all when it comes to strikers. We always seem to buy players who are really old or like aging.
How old was Berbatov when we got him?
I think Berbatov was like 28, 27, stuff like that when we bought him.
Yeah, he was.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like, that age profile is fine. Like, same thing with Casemiro. He's 30. He's just turned 30. That's fine. But when you're buying 35-year-old strikers, even Ronaldo was a fairy tale. The United fans wanted it. I get why they signed him. But there's no longevity in that. There's no future in it.
That's a very good question, Nick. Really good question. Because if you look at everyone around us, all our rivals, I mean, you had Aguero. They went for Aguero where he was decent. He was at a very decent age. Salah, Mane, Firmino, all at a decent age. Even Arsenal with Gabriel Jesus, decent. But we've had Falcao, Zlatan, Cavani, Ronaldo. These are all players that were like in their 30s.
Is it Rooney was the last one? Is that the last one? Rudy? Is that the last guy we got? He was with us
17, 18, and we bought him for 30 mil.
And he was with us for a long, long time.
But this is what I want to get. I want to go get the next one of them. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to keep buying these like 30+ strikers. They're here for a couple of years. Yeah, they might do well. Ibrahimovic did really well for us. Won trophies, etc. Ronaldo in the first season did really well. But then what happens after that? Where did he go after that?
It's not longevity though, is it? It's not.
There's nothing in it.
Like, it's not an Aguero. Like, how long was Aguero at City? Like 8-9 years.
That is probably, if you ask City fans, probably the best money they've ever spent getting Aguero for that price. I think it was 35 million at the time from Atletico Madrid or something. And you ask any City fan, he was worth that ×2 for that, ×3 for them probably, because he was sensational, one of the best players for them. And this is what we need. We need that kind of legacy striker who's going to be here for a long time, who's going to score a lot of goals.
We haven't got the recruitment. We haven't got the recruitment to do that, have we? So that's why we're not gonna find this guy until we have the right people recruiting and a structure in place, which is what Ralph Rangnick was saying the entire time. We need people in place to look at this, director of football in the correct position, technical director, blah blah blah, scouts set up in these countries where talent is coming from, etc. And we don't have any of that. We've got Darren Fletcher, who's never done the job role in his life, and I still don't know what his actual job is. Does anybody we still don't know what his job is?
He's on the training pitch.
And then he's in the board. Then he's on the sideline. Sometimes
he provides the shortbreads for the brews. That's what he does.
And then you've got John Murtough, who's failed at his job. He hasn't done what he said. Oh yeah, clean slate. Do you want me doing this? Blah blah blah. And he's coming and he's failed because he hasn't delivered the targets that Ten Hag's asked for.
Come on, Sam. Let's give him. Let's give him.
Shout out to Rabiot's mum as well, by the way. What an absolute legend! What a legend!
It's been half a season, but I'm not happy with him either. I'm just saying, let's just be calm about. It's been half a season. It's not a full season yet to go in.
Are you telling me you guys Sam's going for the kill and Chivy is being optimistic? Is this what's going on here? Is this the usual kind of? You know what it reminds me of? Is it Ariel and the bad guy? Chael Sonnen and Ariel, wasn't it? Who had that the podcast?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just an idea.
Am I Chael Sonnen in this situation?
Down to your own interpretation, however you want to take it.
No. I'm just calling for calm. That's all I'm saying. I'm just calling for calm. Let's give it to the end of the season. I understand with the recruitment and all that, but I think with the targets that the manager has made so far, apart from Dubravka, we can all say they've, or at the very least, been above average. At the very least.
I don't know if you guys remember, I once used an analogy with the Titanic, the guy who playing the violin when it's all crashing. That is severe. Right, Chivit. Sorry, I keep fucking saying it.
Guys, okay, no, but we'll have to get into that. I'm just being... I just like to be realistic.
I was like,
As the water's coming up to his fucking chin, he's just like...
Don't worry, guys. It's all right.
It's fine. Everything... Chivy's that, do you know that dog in the meme where everything's on fire around him and it's just sat at the table going, it's fine. It's fine.
But you need that. It's important to have that calming influence because it provides perspective, and that's why I love having you on, because it's not all doom and gloom in these situations. You have to have that balance. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Back to the striker situation. Went off on a bit of a tangent there. They're already putting out there Joao Felix loan package is too expensive. Reports that a 6-month loan would cost 22 million euros or something like that. This is where I want to get into who else is there right now. You're a director at United. You've had a look at a couple of players around Europe. Who else is there to go and get?
You haven't. Let's face it. He hasn't looked at anybody.
No, I'm saying, but for you, your personal preference now, who would you go and get right now?
Memphis.
Memphis. You'd go get Memphis.
Yeah.
Do you think he could do a job as a number 9?
For the price, yes. He can do a job as a number 9.
As a loan, or would you buy him?
No, as a loan. We're being realistic here now. We're talking about loan strikers. And so, because if it wasn't about loan, then, would have... because I would have said Gonzalo Ramos, but after his performance in the World Cup...
I thought you say something else.
Average performance on that video.
Yeah. Average performance, I was say.
I definitely was not referenced. I have no idea what these guys are talking about.
Oh, okay. He's trying to censor it. That's what he's trying to do. Okay.
Yeah, but back to what I was saying. I would have gone for Gonzalo Ramos, but I know Benfica would hike the price up, especially when it's Man United.
He's got a clause, hasn't he? Is it 100
Nick. Why is
Nick's
I'm just smiling. I'll just sit here like this.
His buyout clause is like 108 million.
Yeah, fuck that.
So,
Memphis,
Lewis is saying Braithwaite is available, by the way.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ.
From what I get, Memphis is about 5 mil or something. So I don't know. I think it'll work. We can't go wrong with that. It's and it's low risk anyway. So
Do you think it's low? Why do you think it's low risk? Because obviously it didn't work out for him the first time. How do you then resell that? Someone coming back to the club where it's not worked out. Do you not think that'd be an issue?
I'm speaking from a financial point of view. It's a
right, okay.
So it's low risk. Even if it doesn't work out, we only paid we paid £5 million if anything. And he's done really well at Lyon, at Barcelona. I know the Juan Laporta went crazy and was making all these buys and wants to kick everyone out of. I think he just wants to get rid of the Dutch influence at Barcelona.
It seems like it, doesn't it?
That's what it seems like, because he's just going for everyone that isn't, So I think he can do a job at United. I think now he's come as a matured player, because then he came really young, straight out the World Cup. We have a matured, he can come in and fit in with some of these players that he already knows. So why not?
Yeah, it's a realistic shout. Sam, what about yourself? Morata?
God, no. Fucking no. I'm convinced Morata is used for money laundering purposes, because
for sure
he goes to all these top clubs, doesn't play well, doesn't score that many goals, but he's still getting big moves. So I think he's used for money laundering. That's what I think.
Can I just throw something out there? I actually don't mind him as a striker. I think he's all right. I don't mind him.
For Spain, he works. He works for Spain. But
I remember Juventus. He had a spell at Juventus where I was watching him, and he looked really, really good. But he's hot and cold. So
I also don't want Memphis, because he's going to turn up dressed as a matador again with his rap album and his Lamborghini and stuff. Like, I don't.
Hey, if he's bagging 20 goals a season, I don't give a fuck what he's wearing or what he's driving.
I don't need that in the United dressing room. Like, I'm done with that shit. It's just. We've done it. We did it. It didn't work. Let's move on. Let's not go back over old ground. Like,
instead of him doing an interview with Piers Morgan, Sam, we'll be dropping a mixtape dissing the whole United team and Eric Ten Hag.
Fucking freestyle on a MUTV after a match. Like, fucking Christ. Just I don't need that guy. I'm struggling in my head to think of somebody that we could get in. Did Giroud just sign a new deal? The thingy?
AC Milan, I think he has.
No, that's a shame. I'll say I wouldn't bring him in, bench option, bring him off. Like, you can get the ball into the box.
Well, we've already got Maguire. Can we not just bang him up for him?
Again, like we did in Europa League.
Yeah.
But he would be an option, I guess. I'm honestly struggling to think without spending any money who we could get. I think they're your options. I think it's pay the loan fee for Joao Felix, Morata, Memphis Depay. That's probably your options right now as a United guy, because I can't think, unless there's some young sort of striker that I can't think of off the top of my head that they've got their eyes on. Dan's saying Vlahovic. He's going to cost 70-80 million, Dan. Like, we're not going to get him on loan. It's not happening.
Let us know, guys, whoever's watching, if you're watching live or watching later on, let us know what striker you would go for if it is a loan option, because we're struggling here. There's a couple of names we've kind of come up with, but apart from that, the market isn't exactly absolutely booming at the minute, is it? So, yeah, I think it'll be someone like a Depay until the summer, and then God knows what they do in the summer. God knows what happens with the ownership. Yeah, we don't know, do we? There was a thing coming out from Rob Dawson before ESPN, and this is interesting. So Ten Hag told United he's frustrated they could not secure the signing of Cody Gakpo, but remains hopeful a short-term replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo can still be found. And that's something I want to touch on. What happened to the money they saved with Ronaldo? Is that going to pay for a loan fee? Is that what they're doing with it? Because his wages were significant.
Nick Glazer's pocket. That's where it went.
Yeah, but I just thought with him going, like, he's saving a lot of fucking money. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it would have been for the rest of the year, but I imagine it would have been at least 10, 15 million, something along the lines of that. So they have to replace Cristiano, and they can't. This is the frustrating thing with Manchester United. Like, I know Ronaldo wasn't exactly playing amazing for us, but he's still a massive, massive player and a massive, massive figure. And to go and then replace him with, like, if you go get an average player, I don't know what they're going to do. It's frustrating. So I'm curious to know where this money's gone. Do you think it's just gone in the pocket? And it's just sat there burning it, smoking it up?
Definitely. And I think there was a report later on. It might have been Paul. Is it Paul Hurst? I think he's called. Yeah, Paul Hurst.
Yeah.
He was saying the reason he's gone to Liverpool is because Liverpool offered the money up front, and United wanted to put it on the credit card and pay in instalments. That's why he went to Liverpool, not to United, which basically means we've got fuck all money. That's why he didn't come here, because PSV are in financial trouble, I believe, so they wanted the money up front, and it was a record fee, and Liverpool were prepared to pay it up front. So I think that's why he didn't come to United.
There was another report here from The Athletic as well, which I want to get your thoughts on, Severe. Some close to Manchester United felt the Glazers would sanction spending if they were not going to be around to have to pick up the tab. So that refers to the point we was kind of making before. It has to be done. It has to do with the ownership. Sorry, it has to do with that, right?
I just thought of somebody. I don't know how possible it is. Mitrovic.
Halfway through a season, Fulham trying to stay up. They're actually, well, not trying to stay up. What are they, 9th, 10th?
But if United came in and they said to him, "Come be on loan, and then if you do well, we'll sign you in the summer." Do you think he's not going to kick up a fuss and want to go?
I don't know. I really don't know with Mitrovic, to be honest.
Fulham will still charge us top dollar.
Yeah, that's the thing. Still be expensive, wouldn't it? Like, to take their prize player away in January when they've got important games for the rest of the season, you're going to be paying a lot on, probably similar to what they want for Joao Felix. Yeah. That's probably like 15 million or something, I'm guessing.
And
because
even though he's been playing for ages, he's quite young as well. Mitrovic, not that old. Yeah. So.
And he could do it in the Prem. He's proven it. He's done it in the Prem. Like he's scoring in the Premier League. So he did fairly well at the. Oh no, he didn't play at the World Cup, did he? He got injured.
No, I think he played for Serbia. I'm pretty sure he played for Serbia.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, because Vlahovic was on the bench, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, that was it. That's who didn't play. Vlahovic.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah. But what about the type of striker, lad? What type of striker would be your preference? Because obviously we can't think of many in the market at the minute. What style? Because you have many different styles. You mentioned someone like a Mitrovic there. Obviously his style is completely different to someone like a Memphis Depay. So what style do we need? Do you think, Chive?
I was listening to Eric Ten Hag today when he was speaking to like the American journalist teams after the Nottingham game yesterday, and they were talking about obviously us missing out on Gakpo, and he was talking about getting the right type of player, and he mentioned a few words. He mentioned movement. He mentioned like you want somebody who's agile.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think of the way football has kind of moved nowadays, where it's not all about Giroud, Benzema, these kind of guys are still there, but they're almost kind of like fading out, if you will, because, well, apart from players like Erling Haaland. But then if you look at like Mbappe, you look at the Neymars, you look at the Agueros, you look at Gabriel Jesus.
Even Harry Kane drops as a number 10, doesn't he? Even he plays that way.
We're having a lot of strikers who are dropping deep and getting more involved with the play, who are all about movement in and out. Yesterday, what we saw was, even when Nottingham Forest kind of like almost took Martial out of the game, he would come deep to get the ball, or he would go wide and then Rashford would come in. So you need versatile players like that to be able to, that's why a player like Gakpo would have worked. That's why I'm not worried if we get someone like Memphis, because he's that type of player as well. So I think if we get one of them, a player that fits the profile, you have to think of what we have and how they would blend into what we have at the moment with Anthony, with, if Sancho comes back revitalized, you have players like Sancho, players like Rashford, a player in a similar sort of mold. I know we might need something different every now and then, but then someone who can actually fit into that sort of agile player who's very smart off the ball as well, and who's very, very mobile. And I think that's the type of player Ten Hag would like for our system. I know we play slightly different from what Ajax played last season, but I think in terms of getting a striker or a forward player, that's the kind of profile that would suit our system. And
it sounds a bit like you're describing Joao Felix there, slightly, like certain elements of his game. Like, I do think he would fit it. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have said he wouldn't be the type of. I've seen a lot of journalists, should I say, who are reporting saying he's not the type of striker United are looking for. But I think he'd fit in perfect. I think he'd fit in more at Arsenal, in my personal opinion.
Nick,
But
if there's anything we've learned from journalists, like really,
no, I'm
Full of
just saying these
shit.
are like these are
we've
credible
learned that, yeah,
journalists.
they don't know anything. We're the ones who watch football all the time. We watch all the games. We watch the different leagues. We know a lot more than these people. You know, these guys just write stuff to sell papers. We're the ones. We're here. I'm here chatting with you guys. It's a passion for us. It's not for them. It's just it's a job. It's what they have to do. This is a passion for us. We know more, but yeah, I don't really care about what journalists. I mean, there's only a few that I would listen to.
Yeah.
From yeah.
This might be controversial, Sam, but I've always rated the new kind of hybrid strikers that are coming out that are still agile, but they're quick and the physical at the same time. You see the likes of Haaland, Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez, as you guys know, at the start of the summer, is someone I really wanted. And I know at the minute he can't hit a barn door. He's got the composure, it just lacks composure. But he gets into the right positions. He's super quick. He looks like the part. If he can refine his finishing and work on that, he will be a killer. I'm absolutely convinced of it. That is someone, and that's who Ten Hag went for, wasn't it? That's who he went for at the start of the thing, yeah? He could have fit that bill. 21, 22 years old, is he?
Yeah.
Núñez, something like that. Is anyone else out there you think that we can get like that?
My instincts, because I'm struggling to find, would be like normally I'd go, what have we got in the youth system? But I think they're all too young. I think they're all far too young to have this pressure put on them. Like the sort of only guy who's sort of looking like he may make it in his striking wise is Charlie McNeil, and he's 17. So it's
there was one. There was one, wasn't there?
Yeah, let's not talk about that. I've just had to remove Lewis from the chat, his message that he put in there, so let's not talk about that. So yeah, I would look towards the youth system, but again, Charlie McNeil's too young. He's 17. It's too much pressure to put on him to sort of be a starting forward for United. He needs time in the youth academy. He needs to go out on loan, learn his trade, etc. That's what he needs to do. He can't be coming into this team and be expected to start. So I think you'd think that the only guy who sort of made it through is Garnacho, and he's not a striker, really, is he? He's more of a sort of left-sided forward. So we have to go out and find somebody. But again, I'm struggling to
what style do you want though? What style do you think
we need something different to what Anthony Martial offers. We need a different thing to offer, because when Anthony Martial is not working or it's not quite clicking and stuff like that, we need the option to change it up and to sort of make a different sort of play or a different sort of thing to keep defenders guessing, or keep defenders going, oh shit, I'm gonna have to deal with this now, rather than what Anthony Martial offers.
Yeah.
So while Joao Felix is a great option, I think he's very similar to the way Anthony Martial plays. Likes to get involved in the play, and he plays fluidly across that front line, etc. So I'd go for somebody different, like a Mitrovic or something like that. Give us something different to what we currently have. That would be my sort of feeling towards it.
Yeah. Sorted then. Sam wants Chris Wood. And we can move on.
Fuck off, no.
A target man or a Weghorst. We'll go for a Weghorst. He scored that goal in the World Cup.
I'll take that.
You take a Weghorst, would you?
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather take him than have Harry Maguire come off the bench and then try and win headers in the box.
I get it. Yeah. All right, we'll park the striker conversation for a minute, because we're going to be scratching our heads for the rest of January as well. I'm sure we're going to be talking more in depth about that as well. I want to move it on to a midfielder in Enzo Fernandes, another player who has a lot of speculation surrounding his future. Of course, after his wonderful tournament with Argentina. And including some very credible journalists who are from that part of the world, suggesting Manchester United are favourites to sign him. These are top tier. I'm not saying that, it's journalists. I get it, but these are very credible journalists in Argentina. Talks of around £100 million. I think he's got a £105 million release clause or something like that. So if you're willing to pay that, then you can just talk to him directly. And according to reports, it seems much more of a possibility for Manchester United to do the deal due to the player having a strong interest in joining Manchester United over other clubs. However, only Chelsea are in active discussions with the player and his agents, and United currently without financial ability to compete as it stands. Is this a player you guys would go all out for, and if so, why?
When? January or summer?
Summer.
De Jong. That's my midfielder.
Nick's getting excited.
Correct.
That's my midfielder. I don't think he'd go to Liverpool because Liverpool can't get him and Jude Bellingham. Like, and they really want to go for Bellingham. He might just end up at Chelsea, and I get that. I understand. Like Chelsea would need him, but we can't miss out on De Jong. We can always get another agile, young, tenacious midfielder like Enzo. We can always get another one. There's not that many De Jongs, and I think
Bang on that.
Yeah, and for the way we play our football, with Eriksen sort of getting to that age, De Jong would be the right player to just come in and just
that ball carrier in it, and he's got the pace about him as well. He's actually quite quick.
And then on occasions when Bruno isn't really up to speed or he's injured or whatever, Eriksen can fill in at 10. De Jong can play with Casemiro. Can you imagine Eriksen? Casemiro? Oh my god! Oh
yeah, I can't imagine it. Holy shit!
So midfield situation. Sorry, I got carried away there.
No. I was in that dreamboat with you.
Yeah, I don't see Enzo coming to us. I think, unless we get we don't know what we're gonna get with the owners. If we get new owners a month, 2 months from now, it might be a whole new thing. But then, as fast if we're just gonna go with the current situation right now, I don't think we can afford him, as well as other players, if he's going to cost us 100 million.
Yeah.
In the summer, it's just way too expensive if we're gonna get him and then get a bunch of other players to come in.
Well, speaking of his price tag, Sam, do you think he's worth that kind of money off the back of that World Cup performance? He was an important player for Argentina, wasn't
he? He's a very good player, like no doubt. Young, like Chivy said, like young, tenacious midfielder, but 105 million for an unproven guy. He's not. He's won a World Cup, yeah, but I mean, like in terms of club football, he hasn't proved himself yet. He's still too young, so to demand 100 and odd million for him is a lot of money.
The way the market's going at the minute,
like,
it's ridiculous.
Just, like the market doesn't reflect the value of the player anymore. It's just basically how much you want to make the other club pay. That's pretty much what it works out to in the minute. When that's very accurate. When De Jong's worth, like, what is he worth? 60, 70 million euros we were looking at when we were after him. So 30 million cheaper for a proved midfielder who's won things, played for a top club in Barcelona. That's the way you go. I think that's the way you sort of view. Ten Hag is clearly massive fan of him and desperately wants him at the club. So to spend 100 million on is he 21? Did you say?
Yeah.
A 21-year-old is a lot of money, and he's not proven himself as of yet. I'm sure if he turns into a great player, amazing, fantastic. If you're going to spend 100 odd million, and De Jong isn't available, I would rather spend it on Jude Bellingham personally. But it looks like he's going to Liverpool as it stands, so that might be. But again, Severe's right. If we get a Saudi state-backed club who've got billions and billions and billions, they might just go, fuck it, and just cash out everywhere and just start spending money. Yeah. So you never know.
Which isn't necessarily the best thing to happen, to be honest.
No, definitely not. But you don't know. We're in a sort of you're in a sort of
limbo
spot right now where we don't know what's going to happen in the summer, how much we're going to have to spend, who the owners will be, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of questions going on. But yeah, for me, really good player, but 100 and odd million is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And
I don't know what you guys think about this as well, but I actually think it'd suit Liverpool more, the type of player that Enzo Fernandes is. And I think De Jong would suit us more. So I don't know. I don't think Liverpool will go for him. I think they kind of got the heart set on Bellingham, but I do think Enzo Fernandes would fit in perfectly at Liverpool, with the way they play. But let's see what happens again with the midfield situation. So many things in limbo at the minute. That's just it. Whenever we get asked about transfers and midfielders and strikers and etc., it's just limbo. No one fucking knows, man. No one knows what's happening. So yeah, again, we'll park that discussion and we'll move on to the next one. So I really wanted to talk about Casemiro and Rashford, and obviously, Chivy, if you want to talk about the game last night as well, because you haven't spoken about it yet, feel free to. But yeah, both of them in sparkling form at the minute, playing out of the skin. What do you guys put that down to, and where would you rank them currently amongst Premier League players, Casemiro and Marcus Rashford, in terms of form right now? Where would you put them on a scale, do you think, in comparison?
Just to answer the first part of your question, I like to listen to players and managers after the game.
Yeah.
And Marcus Rashford yesterday said it's a different mindset this season from last season. This is what he said after the
Yeah.
game yesterday. And he kind of alluded to the fact that he's in a different place mentally. He said they're enjoying the football now. They're enjoying the training sessions. And you kind of get the feeling that there's a kind of harmony. There's a kind of harmony in the dressing room, and yeah, his confidence is back. Marcus Rashford has always been a confidence player. He's one of them ones where he kind of, when he has a good game and he gets like encouragement and belief from his manager, he kind of kicks on from there. And this is what we're seeing that Europa League season where we won. Clutch Marcus Rashford. Them kind of. I'm not saying he's LeBron James, but then he's one of those players that when you rely on them, you look to some players in the heat of the moment, and yeah, that's what he's providing for us now. So I think it's down to confidence. I think it's down to harmony in the team. I think finally he's found a manager who believes in him. He has some training. There's a lot of credit going to Benny McCarthy. I don't know how much influence he has in there, but there's a lot of credit going to Benny McCarthy as well. And I think it's just the training regime has changed. It's now we have specialist people there.
Do you think? Sorry to put you in there. Do you think he was deprived of coaching under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and obviously when Rangnick came in, didn't have a pre-season, etc. So do you think for a couple of years, do you think it'd be fair to say he was kind of deprived of that solid elite coaching?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's what it was down to. That's what it was down to. It was down to coaching, basically. Because it's not. How is it possible that all of a sudden everyone is playing really well now?
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, it's not like some kind of judge. There's no juju or something, or like voodoo or something. Like, what happened?
Pogba's gone now, so I don't think there's any. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone's kicked off. People have come back from the dead. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has come back. For the
like the Undertaker, mate, just sat up like
boom.
Let's go.
Even everyone we all lost faith. I kind of lost faith in Dano. I didn't think I would see this level from him. Look at what Varane was injured, yes, but he played crap last season.
Yeah.
So everyone is really waking up. It's all down to coaching. I think the manager has found the system that works for all the players, and it's that simple.
He actually said, I know you said you like hearing. I'm going to get to you in a sec, Sam, with Casemiro, but he just reminded me of a point then. Ten Hag said something about that yesterday. He said because he got asked about how have you transformed these players, and he said everyone's following the same principle. Like no one gets out of line, and that's how we're working it. We're working it as a unit together. Everyone follows the rules. As long as we follow the rules, we'll be successful here. So he's clearly, he's clearly installing.
Very, very quickly before Ten Hag came, I watched there was lots of documentaries on him. And there was a player who played for Utrecht, a team that he managed before he went to Ajax.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a player who played for Utrecht, and he said they were all like average players. There was no motivation in the team. And when Ten Hag came in, and he had this training regime, and he would have them do it over and over and over and over until the point where they could just play in their sleep. This is what he says. And what you had was average, regular players transform and carry the team as high as I don't remember what position they went to, but they really flew up the table. And it was so good that Ajax couldn't resist, but just go for Ten Hag. So, yeah, I think it's all down to coaching with Marcus Rashford.
Absolutely. And likewise, Sam, with Casemiro, what do you think? This might be an obvious answer for a lot of people. What do you think he does different to previous players we've had in that position? Because he's absolutely worlds apart from anyone we've had in that position for a long time. Yeah,
we haven't had anybody in that position for a long time.
No.
Like the last sort of defensive midfield we bought was Matic, and he did all right. He was okay at times, but I think his legs were going by the time we got him. I think we got him past his peak. He was the last defender. And then before that, it was Michael Carrick. That's probably the last guy who could do this role really, really well. So yeah, just having a guy who's positioned in the first place in a position he wants to play, he enjoys playing, has done it most of his career. That's a start. Like getting a player for the right position instead of fitting in two players to do one player's job that we had in McFred when they were playing, which I was so happy when Casemiro came. I was like, I never have to see that shit again. Never have to.
You realise how bad they were. I knew they were bad, but you realise how bad they fucking were.
Two players do one player's job, and they were terrible at it.
And not even doing it properly.
They were awful at it. And we spoke about it on the review. Like it's like he's walking around the pitch with a glass of wine in his hand. He's just fucking chill. He's just chill.
So nonchalant in it.
Swanning about and just going, oh, there's the ball. Like, there we go. There's a pass. Oh, there. Let's get hold of that.
Pass.
Interception there. Like just calm everything down. He's just. There's a reason he's won 4 Champions Leagues. There's a reason why Real Madrid were hesitant to let him go, and they all went to the board when he said he wanted to leave and said we cannot let this guy go. He's far too important. And obviously,
what are you talking about?
Casemiro.
Steady Eddie.
Steady Eddie. Not a great player.
Look, I played the game.
Not a great player. Not a great player. Apparently, according to Graham Souness. So yeah, he's just levels. Like there's levels to this game, and he's levels and levels above a lot of defensive midfielders. And yeah, I never thought in my wildest dreams that when I was asking for a DM, I was asking for what was the guy from PSV? Ibrahim.
Oh, Sangare.
Yeah, I was asking for people like that. I was like, I'll take anybody. I'll just give me a defensive midfielder. I don't care who it was. I was like, just give me somebody. And we went out and got arguably the best one on the planet. And he's showing it on the pitch week in, week out. He's probably been man of the match for the last 2 games, in my opinion. And he's been one of the best players for the last 6. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And then he played centre-back at Burnley. And he was fantastic at that as well. The guy is just... He's amazing. And I'm running out of superlatives to describe the guy because he's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I want to speak about that Graham Souness thing as well. He is in the mud. He is in the mud with them comments. Like he's an average player, steady Eddie. It maybe he'll be a solid player for him in the midfield, but nothing more than that. Like he couldn't be further away. Him and Carragher are in the fucking mud, mate. In the mud.
He also talked about his passing range. He said he hasn't got a good range.
Yeah.
And I think how many assists does he have this season?
I can double check that, but even if you just watch the Burnley game alone, his first time passing on his left foot, right foot was just sublime, mate. There was one pass from like our 18-yard box that he hits first time on his left foot and nearly puts Rashford in behind. Yep. It's unreal, absolutely unreal. Like Scholes, like honestly.
Quality levels, you can tell when a player looks like he's not even making an effort and he's smashing out of the park. He doesn't even look like he's breaking a sweat. Like he's literally just chilling the entire time. He's just like he knows exactly what he's doing, and his mindset is just he's in the zone the entire time, and he doesn't look like he's even trying. That's 2 assists,
2 assists and 1 goal. He's got Casemiro.
This is why Marco Carrick, after every game, like everyone was like muddy and he was still like
he's just clean.
Shirt was still tucked in. His socks were still white
shorts.
Yeah. That's how you do it, man. I don't think there's very few central defenders in Europe at the moment. Rodri, Busquets, I don't know who.
Kimmich,
Joshua Kimmich. There's just very few that we can actually compare with this guy.
Yeah. And it's great to have him, man. I'm absolutely buzzing he's here. And long may it continue. A last kind of question before we throw off. A bit of a cheeky question. Who's the player of the year for you so far? Since obviously Ten Hag's come in. Who's stood out? I know we're speaking about Casemiro there, but anyone else? Anyone else for discussion?
Lissandro. He's got to be in there, hasn't he?
Oh, he's back now, isn't he?
Is he back in training?
Yeah. Back today, training, so should be available for the Wolves game.
Lissandro has not put a foot wrong since he's come into this team. He's a leader. He fucking gives a shit about United. I think there was an interview that I think I put on our Instagram actually. He said he was going to Arsenal, and then he rang Ten Hag and said, "If you want me to come to United, I will come." And he's here, and he's ended up, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. He's not been able to be shifted out of that centre back partnership with Varane because he's just been absolutely phenomenal. His passing range, again, is absolutely fantastic. He's aggressive in the right way without getting himself sent off and being too over the top. Like, I fell in love with him when we played Liverpool and he just bodied Salah within the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and Jesus as well.
I was just
in that game.
fucking I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love that. So yeah, that guy's got to be up there for me. He's playing the season. Eriksen's got to get a mention as well. I think Eriksen's been absolutely solid. The assist on the set piece yesterday for Rashford's goal was fantastic. So yeah, they'd be the two outside of Casemiro I'd mention.
Yeah. Severe?
It has to be Lissandro. For me, I know Eriksen has been amazing as well, but I think that's what we've lacked over the last couple of years. Is we've always had periods where we had really good midfielders come in and perform. We've had under Herrera's come in. We've had sometimes Pogba would perform, but we never really had that backbone in defense. It's been ever since Rio and Vidic left. I don't think we had any defenders that we could really rely on or feel safe with. And Lissandro, in half a year, has given us so much confidence, and he's basically a transformative player. He's transformed the team.
Yeah.
And it's not the place where you can just come to Old Trafford anymore. Because remember, for years, teams would just turn up, man. They'd come, they'd bully us. They'd come and they'd come. What's my man's name at Watford? Troy Deeney. All them type of players would all those guys, all these, they'd come in and try and bully us off that's not happening anymore with Leicester. That's not happening. It's a completely new ball game now. So he's really transformed us, and it's really, really, it's almost a sad thing where we have players like Casemiro and Eriksen who've been brilliant for us, and Dalot and Varane. But if we have to pick one, it has to be Lissandro.
Dalot's definitely gets it. Dalot needs a shout out, by the way. He definitely needs a shout out.
They all do. They all do. Even Scott McTominay before Casemiro came on, before when Casemiro was still coming
drip feeding.
McTominay held the fort. He held his own against Arsenal. He held his own against Liverpool. So everyone has played their part. But then, Lissandro. Definitely.
I would happily agree with Lieutenant Martinez. I think that should be his new name, Lieutenant Martinez, because he marshals that back line. He's just, do you know what? And I said it so many times for Argentina, man. When he came on, he was just that guy at the back. You could see he was absolutely fully in control of everything that was going on in front of him, anything that was going on behind him. And when he had the ball, he was the one who was the playmaker. He was just he just picks passes effortlessly. It's like Casemiro when he played at centre back for us against Burnley. It was the same thing what Lissandro does.
When we played against City, did Casemiro play? He was on the bench.
He was on the bench because everybody was saying he should have played, didn't they? We're all saying that would be the game. Yeah.
Well, that makes it interesting now though, because when we obviously got City in the fifth game in January, I think it is, or something.
After Bournemouth.
And Arsenal as well. So we've got all our players back. Should have all our players back. Going to be interesting to see how we do against them at their grounds as well. Going to be super interesting. But yeah, that is that concludes the show for today, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. We really appreciate the continued support. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and smash a like on the video as well. If you want to follow us on social media for regular updates and clips from the show, all the handles are at the bottom of the graphic, or just head to the description in the video link. Sam, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate your time, man.
No worries. Everybody, if you are part of the Fantasy League, make sure you get picks in for the weekend. We're doing, it's still going on, and you can win a retro shirt. So get back on it, start picking your teams, get your transfers in, all that good stuff. I think Leeds are playing City tonight.
So we're kicking off in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's too late to make changes now, but after tonight, get your changes in, ready for the weekend, because get some points in.
Yeah, I've got Haaland as captain, so let's see what goes on tonight. Survey, are you going to be doing anything on FPL, or are you just? Yeah.
He's forgotten about it. He's forgotten about it.
I've got a few changes to make.
Okay.
I don't think too many people have Marcus Rashford at the moment.
No.
So he's my differential at the moment. He's the one who's helped keeping me up. So
yeah. Yeah, man. Interesting. We are gonna go. Well, I'm gonna go watch football anyway. The last bit of Premier League football until the weekend, and then it's the new year. So, well, actually, no, we've got the Wolves preview tomorrow, aren't we?
Yeah.
Before I kind of get ahead of myself, the Wolves preview tomorrow, and then over the weekend it will be the new year. So, yeah, make sure you tune in tomorrow about same time, 7 o'clock for that. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.
Thank you.